Chapter 10, Back to Back, Blake, Friday, May 4th, 10 a.m. A bright yellow light shot directly into my eyeballs. Ugh! Hotter and hotter. The lights inflamed like lightning stuck in a ball without a crack to escape. My eyelids squeezed tighter. My forehead rolled against my pillow, attempting to escape the burning of the light. My heart rate sped up. Sweat dripped from every pore in my body, and my mind twirled into a fireball. My lungs collapsed and let out a deep sigh. That hot Texas sunlight beaming directly through our green nylon tent ripped my eyes open. My head sunk back into the air mattress, and my body laid motionless in between the creases of the deflated mattress. Stiffness, fresh air, all struck my brain at once. I curled my toes, I rolled over onto my side, I wiggled my arms. I'm still alive. I glanced down past the air mattress's imperfections at Hippie. The mental sensation hit me again, just like the sun, just like the shots, the lights. It hit me, bright. This was my moment in the music industry to level up from concerts and venues to music festivals. The most surreal thing was I had my best friend along for this adventure, for the journey, next to me and by my side on my new path in life. I smiled as I unzipped the tent, and that smile didn't leave my face after I walked into the canopy. I lifted that bulky burner onto the plastic table and attached the green propane cartridge. Then I reached into the cooler and pulled out a carton of eggs. I placed the nonstick pan on top of the burner, layered the pan in butter. I watched the butter melt slowly along the grooves of the pan. Gooey, slimy, liquidy, an ingredient, a greaser. I gripped onto an egg and cracked the white shell against the round, solid brim edge of the pan. The shell burst in half upon contact as the liquid of the unborn chicken spewed out from the shell onto the buttery surface of the pan. I grabbed another egg. Whack! Ugh! The precision of cracking an egg, it's a skill to say the least. You must hit the eggshell so hard but not too hard. The striking of the shell against the pan has got to be at the right central point. Then, the trickiest part is making sure all of the egg's liquids roll softly inside onto the surface of the pan without cracking the yolk. Whack! Another eggshell cracked perfectly in half and slid next to the slightly heated eggs starting to slowly solidify on the buttery pan. The smell. Smoke started to rise from the pan as I realized videography was a skill. Just like cracking an egg, I had to cover every point of the concert. I had to be at the right angle, capture the moment with all the energy and emotion I felt at the exact time. I had to position myself in and around the crowd. I had to take my shots up, down, left, right, and it all came down to being at the right place at the right time. And let me tell you this, if you could be at every place and capture every significant moment without trying, then videography wouldn't be a skill, let alone an art. The pan simmered. The clear liquid eggs solidified into bright white patties with soft pink yolks forming in the middle. I flipped the eggs without cracking any of the perfectly colored pink tops. The pan sizzled. I reached underneath the table and clenched onto a warm Coors Light can. Ka-ch! I took a sip out of the beer can, savoring this moment, when I noticed the tent shaking behind the burner. Hippie flips up! I reached under the table again and grabbed another brew from the Coors Light box. The tent opened up, and to my surprise, Hippie emerged with a big smile on his face. See, Hippie Flip always hated EDM. One time when we were at high school party, I was playing Summer by Marshmello and was just about to drop into an epic instrumental when I left the aux cord to play beer pong. Within milliseconds of the drop, Hippie Flip unplugged my phone from the aux and blasted No Type by Ray Shremmerd. The more I think back on it, the more pissed I get. Hippie Flip and I were always fighting for the aux at parties. He was the new rap hit dropper, while I was the EDM DJ with all the best and emotion-filled tracks of the summer. Of course, everyone liked Hippie's music more because we were from the Midwest. But here at Common Grounds, the closest thing to rap music was rap music mixed with EDM, which people call trap music. I think it's because the electronic music really put a spotlight on the rap's graphical lyrics, which expressed a lifestyle of being trapped by drug addiction, violence, poverty. His smile radiated off his face as he entered the canopy. The past times quickly slipped away. I sensed that the electronic dance music and culture had grown on him overnight. I gripped onto a Coors can and tossed it to him. "How'd you sleep, brother?" Hippie Flip caught the beer and threw up a perfect symbol with his fingers. "Fantastic. That set last night was amazing, bro. I think I finally understand why you like EDM so much. Those lights and the production flowed so well with the music." I laughed. "Last night was only the pre-party festival. Just wait until we enter the real festival today. You're going to see a whole new side to electronic dance music festivals." He took a long pull from the beer as he leaned backwards in his lawn chair. "I'm so excited. So what's on our agenda for the afternoon?" I grabbed onto my beer and placed it out for a cheers. I've heard they've got bubble soccer and archery tag at the after-hours stage. Hippie Flip smashed his beer can against mine as brown liquid particles splashed out of our cans and onto the grass beneath our feet. "Let's get it!" I've been wanting to try bubble soccer. It's been all over my social media feed lately, from Facebook to Snapchat to Instagram. After breakfast, and 6 more Blue Mountain beers. The sun blazed down directly against my pale Wisconsin hands as my lens zoomed in on all the unique moments unfolding right before my eyes. The entire after-hours stage had transformed overnight into a community hangout ground. Instead of dancing together in a huge crowd, all the attendees were participating in activities and socializing with each other, from shopping to eating to yoga to drinking to archery tag to bubble soccer to a hammock bar, and to tie everything together, a tent full of attendees crafting art. They had it all. And of course, amazing music was being performed live on the stage in the background. Everyone appeared so alive in this moment. I stared down at my screen as an interaction between 2 attendees began. Just by their facial expressions, I could tell this moment was a happy moment. Their arms moved while they talked to each other, their teeth flashed with whiteness, and their voices matched the motion of their fingers as they crafted tie-dye t-shirts. Who wouldn't be happy tie-dyeing a t-shirt? I glanced up from the screen just to enjoy the real-life moment. It was so authentic and real, true kindness and spirituality flourishing in the air, something that could be shared with everyone living in this moment and vicinity. I looked down into my screen to savor this moment. However, I knew my lens could never justify the energy flowing through my brain in this moment. I wanted to give my viewers the feeling surrounding the frame of my video. I wanted to show them what I saw, but on all levels. I wanted them to hear what I heard. I wanted them to see my perception on the world and how I analyzed it. I wanted them to react to my emotions and live life through my lens. Then everyone in the world would be able to feel the sensation flowing consciously through my head in this exact moment. I looked up from the screen as I heard the words echoing through the arts and crafts tent. How could I ever show my viewers this feeling? The feeling of 45,000 people coming together from all over the United States to form this wonderful, one-of-a-kind community. It was impossible to show them a 360-degree view of paradise, and for them to experience the dopamine shooting rapidly through my brain. How could they ever understand the connection flowing throughout this place, and the music which played perfectly? How could I help them conceptualize the reality of this place? Souls, music, art, people, stories, all together in the same place at the same time. I changed the lens mode to expand and placed the GoPro on a revolving stick. The music increased louder and my lens started to slide at the height of the small crowd traveling shop to shop, enticed by the merchant mall full of one-of-a-kind items. The lens followed Hippie and I as we grooved to the musical notes past a line of merchant stores. Carelessly, our bodies flowed with the instrumentals, floating magically along the sound of an island wave. This was my chance to capture this one-of-a-kind EDM community in its natural state. My lens scanned slowly across the shelves and zoomed in past the items to focus in on the faces of attendees who looked, touched, and purchased items. I recorded the register, ringing up face masks, jewelry, blankets, yoga mats, candy, pins, posters, clothing. They had everything and anything an attendee could ever want or need. But I wanted to show my viewers a deeper feeling, which could not be translated through the lens. I wish. No. I can show my viewers the stimulation your mind gets from everyone passing by. The rush you feel when you see different attendees purchasing items. The thousands of unfamiliar faces, body structures, and eyes passing right in front of your own eyes, just a word away from entering your life. Hi. This feeling was euphoric. This festival was more energized than any concert venue I'd ever been to before. Everyone had their own swagger, and there were no trends or matching shirts. No, at this festival, everyone expressed themselves in their own unique way. From facial features to clothing to shoe styles to hairstyles to costumes, everyone was special and one of a kind, one of ones. My cheeks scrunched up. I couldn't hold in the amazing sensation of happiness and gratefulness shooting back and forth through my brain. I finally believed, for the first time in my life, that everyone in this world was born to be original and unique in their own special way. Their lips, mouth, tongue, teeth, facial structure, eye color, ear size, forehead height, etc. Everything developed and formed by destiny, by God. As we passed by more attendees, the individuality and self-expression at this festival transformed into a perception within my unconscious mind. See, it was amazing how a stranger could interpret so much about one person by just simply looking at what they chose to wear. Instinctively, we acknowledge what design is on their shirt, the color, the style, the look. Everything could be observed through our own lens. It told me something about these people around me. I glanced up from my screen as Hippie Flip came to a complete halt. Yo, Blockade, I'm copping a smoothie right now. You trying to get your vitamins in for the day? I looked at Hippie Flip and then at a line of 25 attendees. I think I'm going to pass on this line. He looked a little down, but I didn't feel bad because I'm not a smoothie guy. Plus, I had a picture in my mind that I wanted to bring to life for my viewers' eyes. I positioned the lens just above my chest. I slowly moved past all the attendees, facing forward in line. Each person had their own color scheme, designs, images, and messages written on their shirts. I shifted from person to person to person to person until I reached the front of the line. Then I positioned the camera high above my head, capturing all the people standing in line from the front. Snap. I lowered the camera back down to my chest and zoomed past the line of faces one more time. This was going to be the smooth transition I needed for my recap video. Hippie slurped on his strawberry smoothie as we checked out the field games. A 30-second video continuously replayed over and over again in my head. I wanted to use my legs to manipulate and illustrate the player's aggression radiating from the bubble soccer game. So I used my mind to orchestrate the physical movement with a waist-height, upwards angled shot. Then I synthesized the energy of the players moving up, down, side to side by following the motion of the ball moving at a high intensity around the field. My camera became still as the game narrowed down to a last-second, one-on-one breakaway. I zoomed in on the flick of the player's foot as the green and yellow soccer ball spun past the goalie, piercing the goal's white netting. I swung my body around in a 180-degree motion towards the archery tag game unfolding behind my backside. The lens shifted upward into my chest with a high angle. Then I focused in on the backside of an archer right as he pulled back the drawstring and released the bulky foam arrow. I zoomed in on his target, directly past his head, as the arrow quickly soared across the field, hitting the opponent on the opposite side. Clunk! I yelled towards the archer, "Nice shot, mate!" I followed the archer from his backside continuously. He picked up arrow after arrow, swiftly sniping player after player until the entire opposing team was eliminated. He threw his hands up and flipped his mask upwards, exposing a huge smile. I hit the power button on my GoPro. Then I met up with Hippie Flip on the bubble soccer field. I grabbed an inflatable bubble and I slipped my body in. This is pretty neat. I gripped tightly onto the plastic handles inside the bubble. Then I moved my legs up and down, rounding directly towards Hippie Flip. I bent my legs and lunged towards him within milliseconds of the referee blowing his whistle. Thump.